Dude, and
that was legit. Like, there was a couple times where, like, let's get bored out. Like, come on, we're not coming. Hey, what are you doing? He answers the door, and he has a laptop. Oh, just tracking some missile silos. We're like, what's the computer doing? I'm having trouble with the board.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Sorry, guys. Can I switch these back to
Yeah, of course.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Oh, that's so funny. Because, when I found out, I'm out terrorist. I'm out terrorist.
Yeah. Rip flag.
I freaked out. I was like, Sean through the roof. Sounds like good times right now.
There's a lot of funny stories. But it was quiet.
Shoot. Pretty happy you guys.
I had a good time.
Why you should probably like the most brotherly, like guys.
Those guys, they're awesome. I mean, I like more of those guys than some of my own guys.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to push you down.
No, don't worry about it, man. That's definitely. Did cool it? No, not cool it. Get a crew at all or anything?
No. I mean, he got his officer and all that stuff. He never actually.
So basically, it's just outcast. What about the station captains of that town?
Station captain of that two was cool. We were a tight group too, very tight group.
Yeah.
But then one was pretty bad. Even before like that.
The meeting of the Winter City Council on Tuesday. Tracy, we have a roll call.
Councilmember Anderson?
Here.
Councilmember Lauren? Here. Councilmember New?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cameron?
Here.
And Mayor Biazzi.
Here. Thank you. Beth Walker, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to approval of the agenda.
Chair and Council, staff's asking that item E on the consent calendar be moved down and made as discussion item number 3 on the agenda, and that under the presentations, the swearing in of Captain Bungard, they're all out putting out a fire right now, but they said that they're going to come back, so we're just going to. We're trying to get them off of the fire in here for the swearing in, but they may be a little late. But they said that they're coming, so we'll get
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Just so everybody knows, that item D that we're going to move to discussion is the one on the Senior Commission on Aging. So that we'll have an opportunity for people to give input if they would like. As it's on the consent calendar, we just approve it and be done. We have a large crowd here. So we will, we'll open up first for public comment for anything that's not on tonight's agenda. We have one paper turned in. I have Wally Pierce for their Elder Day.
I'd just like to thank the council and John for coming out and showing support to the honorees. That meant a lot. And I've heard comments about Gee Whiz, and thank you for being here. So I really do appreciate it. I know it was a kind of a hot day, a lot of stuff going on, but I really do appreciate your time and effort. Thanks.
Thank you for all your time and effort as well. Anyone else? Okay, I'll go back. I skipped one step that we usually do before that, and that's the council and staff comments. Councilmember Lauren.
All right. Going back to May 23rd,
On May 23rd, I sat in on the Ask the City Manager session. It was pretty fun. I also, on Memorial Day, I interviewed Evelyn Rominger for the Elder Day. It was a lot of fun. May 28th, I met with the Elder Day Committee. May 30th, did the shopping with Sharon Pierce for Elder Day. So Elder Day was a big part of my last 2 weeks. On May 31st, I attended the History Museum of Winners event along with my husband's group, mostly Wednesdays. We sang and we played acoustic music. Also, many of the paintings were on sale from Winners Plein Air Festival. So I bought a painting. Yeah. Buy a painting. On June 1st, I helped with Elder Day. We honored Dorothy Jones, Baldy Romero, June Swingle, and Evelyn Rominger. It was great to have all of the city council, city manager in attendance. Thank you. June 3rd, I attended the Water Resource Agency and Sustainable Groundwater Agency Executive Committee for the Yolo County Flood Control and Water Conservation District. We're working on keeping our documents simple, but setting up outreach to our constituents about changes and things to come. On the 3rd, I also met with City Manager John Donlevy to review tonight's agenda. And lastly, I also met with the Hispanic Advisory Committee. We are knee-deep in festival planning for the Carnitas Festival. If you don't know, if you're new to being in this audience, it's the last Saturday in September from 4:30 to 10:30. We also met with Police Chief Miller and last night about the ABC expectations. And we also approved some new guidelines for 501c3 for the Hispanic community. So big shout out to Ramon Altamirano and Al Vallecillo for spearheading the work on that 501c3.
Thank you. Councilmember Anderson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I attended the Memorial Day ceremonies in the cemetery. Attended the Elder Day celebration on June 1st, and also attended the public safety ceremony the evening of June 1st.
Thank you. Councilmember New.
On Wednesday, the 22nd of May, I attended the Yolo County Housing meeting, and as usual, we were talking about upkeep of the housing that is under county supervision and budget, those types of things. On the 28th, I attended the Elder Day Planning meeting. Later on the 28th, I was at the bike rodeo, adjusting bikes for my kids so they could ride, and they had a pretty good time, I think. On the 1st of June, the Elder Day celebration, I was there, helped set up, and then be there. Actually, I didn't help. Yeah, I was there. I was supposed to help set up, but I was there. I cheerleaded. And then on also on the 1st, I attended the Public Safety Awards. And on the 4th, I met this morning with John Dunleavy about the agenda, and that's it.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Callen.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 27th, I also attended the Memorial Day services at the cemetery. And on the 29th, I attended a meeting with the alleyway businesses that'll share the trash enclosure. For a short notice meeting, there was a really good turnout. Pretty much all the businesses on that block of Main were represented, as well as Abbey House. And they took a hard look at a half a dozen options and narrowed it down and picked one out, and it's on tonight's agenda. So it was a real big step in the alley activation process, and really good to finally get some decisions on that. So glad to see that moving forward. I also attended the museum plein air art show. As like Jesse, it ends up costing you money if you go. On the first, I attended Elder Day, and also on the first, the Police Fire Recognition Dinner, and then yesterday, the city manager for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. On the 27th, I also attended the Memorial Day service at the Winter Cemetery. They did a really good job. VFW organized it along with the cemetery. It was good, even though their speaker that they had scheduled had to back out at the last minute. They did a good job, and it was very nice to honor all of our service people. On the 28th, attended the planning commission meeting where we had further discussion on the Airbnb ordinance. On the 31st, I also attended the Winter's History Museum event. And on June 1st, I attended the Elder Day celebration. Thank you to everybody. I know there was a lot of people involved in the planning and organizing for that. Thank you very much for all your hard work on that. One of the things that I thought of when I'm sitting there, people talk about keeping small town values, Winters has. That's kind of one of the things that we have, that we honor our older people, and just to have an event like that, to have people come together, so appreciate that. Later that evening, we attended the Public Safety Awards at the fire station, where we had a Firefighter of the Year, Justin Rominger, and Police Officer of the Year, Detective Gonzalez, were honored, so thank them for all their work. And then I met with the city manager on the 3rd to discuss tonight's agenda, and we had the joint workshop with the Planning Commission at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So thank you everyone for all your hard work and your time that you put into this. Okay, we will move on now to the consent calendar.
Mayor and Council, a couple of items tonight. Item A are the notes from the regular meeting on May 21st. Item B is an intergovernmental agreement between the city and Yolo County Housing. This is basically a renewal of the agreement, but typically the city under this agreement has been paying probably under $10,000. One of the things about this agreement is that it goes up precipitously to a not to exceed amount of about $50,000. The reason for the increase in that is primarily related to the anticipation of the implementation of the Blue Mountain Terrace Senior Apartment Complex. So it's basically a time and material contract. So depending on how that project goes, determine the amount that it actually costs. Item C is an agreement for a Civic Spark Fellow. This is, we've got a certain amount of grant funds. This position will come into the city and work on our climate action plan and resiliency and a number of issues regarding climate. We moved item D down to discussion item 3. Item E is the resolution for our annual weed abatement program. The addresses are in there. Notices go out. Everybody's got some time to get the weeds off of their property. And, item F is a resolution approving a subdivision final map for a 6-unit subdivision cottages at Carter Ranch. This was previously adopted way back in the day, probably, and essentially the entitlement ran out on the subdivision. 6 units supposed to go in there. There's only one public improvement, and this just kind of shows how old the last map was. Is that there's only one improvement. They have to actually change out the water meters because of the old water meters. So other than that, they get to do the project. Item G is a budget adjustment, a little under $70,000 towards the influence screen project out at the wastewater treatment facility. This brings the overall project up close to about $800,000. At the end of the day, the project really is going to be probably $1.5 million project. This is adding additional work into the existing contract, and we anticipate that it'll save quite a bit of information. Part of the truth in advertising, with some of the new tariffs that we're hitting, that we're going to increase overall taxation on some of the things, we're able to save almost 50% on some of the equipment. So as far as moving forward on this thing, it's worth it. And item H is the rejection of a claim filed against the city.
Thank you. Questions on the consent calendar? No, I'll open it up for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second?
So seconded.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Passes unanimously. Thank you. The presentation, we're gonna,
Looks like Art's coming up.
looks like their timing is perfect.
You know, what's that?
Do you wanna give them a chance
Wow.
to breathe?
Well, let's see if the chief is in town.
He's right there. Look at that. Timing is everything. So we're having tonight we have scheduled a presentation for the swearing in of our new fire captain, Shane Baumgart. I know our fire department is just returning from a call.
Right now, you're on.
We'll give him a chance to catch his breath.
No. Nope.
Keep going.
Thank you for taking care of our.
Where's the axe?
It's coming.
If I could ask all the fire staff to go ahead and make their way in.
We're smelling to the front.
Great, Andy.
What's the direction?
Hard workers.
Turn right up here. That's up here.
Okay, Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. Literally, we just returned from a fire down at the BK Burger King. So that's why many of our folks are still outfitted in their gear, so a little busy. But again, thank you for having us. Today's a very exciting day for Winters Fire Department with the swearing in of Shane Baumgart. And I'd like to share a little bit about Shane with you today. Shane enlisted with the United States Air Force Reserve in February 2012 as a firefighter. Currently an E6 technical sergeant and holds the position of training manager as well as a crew chief company officer. Notable activity duty assignments include Travis Air Force Base, McConnell Air Force Base, and Al Dhafra Air Force Base, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, United Arab Emirates, and he is planning to separate from the military in July of 2019 this year. He's joined the Winters Fire Department as a volunteer firefighter in May of 2015 and quickly matched in with staff and other firefighters. From the very start, we could see Shane had an excellent work ethic and represents himself very professionally. As an example, typically on-duty staff gathers around the apparatus floor at shift change in the morning, just for general conversations. Shane would arrive early for shift, greet everyone, and immediately begin loading his gear on the engine and doing his safety checks, loading up the ice chest, and starting the engines for daily inspections. As a firefighter, he understood the importance of his position and continued to demonstrate he remained prepared at all times. Shane completed his probation as a volunteer firefighter and began working on his driver-operator training in 2016. Shane has a drive and passion for the fire service that is clearly remarkable. He is always willing to invest his time by helping others and mentoring others behind him. Shane was instrumental in revising the department's driver-operator program that prepares and trains and certifies individuals to operate fire department equipment. He is active in the Winters Volunteer Association, supporting functions and community fundraising events. In 2017, Shane was one of 7 internal volunteers selected to participate in the acting captain program that would be evaluating the evaluating process for filling a permanent position. He also joined the Woodbridge Rural Fire Protection District as a full-time firefighter trainee in 2017. He continued to hone his skills and develop his knowledge as a professional firefighter. The fire captain's position is probably one of the most important positions within a fire department. As a frontline supervisor, they set the tone in the firehouse, and they are influential in developing a culture in the department. They have a tremendous amount of responsibility and require certain attributes. They need to have good leadership, problem-solving skills, and be able to work under stressful conditions. They have to maintain the safety of their crew and the public and be able to make calculated decisions on the fire ground. Shane has demonstrated these abilities through his time as a firefighter and acting captain with Winters Fire Department and his military experience. Shane was deployed this past year at the Camp Fire in 2018, where he was recently recognized for his response to that at our award ceremony. And just this morning, in fact, his crew responded to a medical emergency, resulting in a life saved. Shane is married to his wife, Alyssa. They've been together since May 25th, 2011, and they have a daughter, Lillian Renee, who will be 2 in September. Shane has earned his associate's degree in fire science and currently working on his bachelor's degree. So tonight we're here to swear in and welcome Shane to the Winters Fire Department and the city of Winters.
All right.
Make it official.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Shane Baumgartner,
I, Shane Baumgartner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of fire captain
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of fire captain
in and for the city of Winters,
for the city of Winters,
State of California,
State of California,
according to law, so help me God.
according to the law, so help me God.
Shane is going to have Captain Melvin Self pin his badge tonight. Mel, who is also a firefighter with the Winters Fire Department, is a fire captain with the Travis Air Force Base. So he'll be doing the honors of pinning his. The Air Force
Shane, is there anybody in the audience here, good for you tonight? That you want to introduce?
Yeah. I just want to thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to be here. The support of my wife and our family is really what made this happen. So thank you for that. And I want to thank a lot of my friends and mentors that are here and some of them that didn't make it. And I especially want to thank Chief Lopez, Captain Mendoza, Captain Shepla, and the whole Winters staff for the guidance and support since day one that I've been here. You really made it a positive place, and I'm excited to continue to serve this great community, our neighbors, and our friends. That's okay. Introduce them? Yes. All right. My mother, Jackie Garish. My Aunt Christine. Brother, Jake Garish. Dad, Carol Garish. Who else we got? My wife, Alyssa. Aunt Christine. Uncle Alan. Aunt Shemaine. Grandpa Scott. Grandma Barbara. Father-in-law, Sean Hill. Missing anyone? Oh, Grandpa Bob. Great grandma Irma,
and Grandma Anna.
Congratulations, Captain Baumgart. We look forward to your service to our community and also thank you for your service to our country. Do we have, are we gonna take a break or are we gonna move?
No, I think we're gonna move on. And, you know, and actually, this is a great time that if you wanna.
Folks enjoy the rest of your
Oh,
evening.
thank you. Shame. You forgot your daughter and your mother. I know. They're outside.
We're in no rush.
It matches your shorts.
It'll be lonely after we leave.
Okay, we will now move on to discussion item 1, which is the public hearing and adoption of resolution 2019-14.
Mayor and council, this item has to do with the city's citywide assessment for landscape and lighting throughout the city. This is an assessment the city has had on the books. It was re-ratified as part of Prop 218 back in 1998. There's no increase in the assessment, 8250, and back in 1998 it was 8250, and today it's 8250. Staff's asking the council to conduct a public hearing regarding the engineer's report, ordering to levy the assessment, and they will also consider and adopt resolution 2019-14, a resolution enacting the assessment.
Any questions? I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing at 6:56. Anyone in the public who would like to speak to this? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 6:56. Okay, any other discussion from council? Seems pretty straightforward. To help pay for our parks and our streetlights, keep it looking good if we approve it.
I'll move staff recommendation to adopt resolution 2019-14.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. We're going to move on to discussion item number 2, which is the downtown trash enclosure.
Mayor and council, it doesn't get more small town than this.
John, can you hold a second? We have a conflict. Councilmember Anderson has a conflict with this item because he has property in the vicinity. He will recuse himself for this discussion.
Just the long and short of it, May 7th council meeting, the city council heard from downtown businesses and merchants regarding a number of options regarding deciding of a trash enclosure to support them. The concept is really simple. It's a new compactor system that implements the various elements of the new downtown waste system. It would be a collaborative effort of the property owners and merchants. At the May 7th meeting, there really wasn't a decision on which way to go on it. Last week on May 29th, staff and the merchants and property owners met to discuss what previously came out to be 6 different options. At the meeting, there was quite a bit of consensus on trying to find a location, and ultimately, the option that was picked was option 4A, which involves the siting of the trash enclosure in the center of the parking lot on First Street. It does not require any reconfiguration of previously approved parking lot configuration that's currently been and going. Some of the positives of the location that were listed, the idea of gateway or alleyway activation was important, preserving a positive gateway in the Utes Expressway. Pretty much it's an equal distance between businesses. Comparatively, the cost of the project is basically as low as it gets. It'll be the construction, the water, sewer, and power that will go into it. It can easily be incorporated into the parking lot design. Overall, really good meeting. I think for the most part, we had agreement from everybody there. So with that, steps included in the with the item and Exhibit A, which has the location on First Street, and staff is recommending that the council approve such. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Open up for questions from the council? No questions? I have a question. So tonight, we're only looking at the location, just to clarify everything. We're looking at the location only. Future design and who's gonna pay for it, all that will come in due time, right?
Yeah, the bottom line on it that we got with the property owners and businesses is that it's gonna be their responsibility. Getting the location is critical simply because we can actually plumb everything into the location, start working on the design as expeditiously as we can. This is an item that actually the design has to be approved by the planning commission, but that's something that we can get done pretty rapidly, at least conceptually. Really, I hate to talk about the facade of the trash enclosure, but that's what we're getting to. Ultimately, the enclosure will have some type of vines that are planted around it. There'll be some type of a lattice that will go over the top of it. Details, but the most important one, we're moving forward on the construction of the parking lot. So all those things need to be worked out. I'm sure they will.
Anybody in the public that would like to comment on this item?
Is it
Please
really
come
going to
forward.
be colored orange? Yes,
Please come forward. Everybody at home can hear you.
Karen May on 100 Caselli Court. Is it really going to be painted orange like we heard?
No decisions made on any design yet.
Because we don't want it sticking out like a big red flag.
Correct, we do not. That's something that will go before the planning commission.
Good
Warrant comes out at the time that we go. Thank you.
What do we have against
Oh, yeah, that's.
Anybody else like to speak to this? Mr. Gando.
Hi, Joe Gando, 41 through 47 Main Street. I'd just like to ask that the same group that was brought together in the last meeting is involved in the planning and approval process before we go any further than picking locations. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience? I'm making just a few comments on my part. I mean, when that location was first proposed, and I saw it, I was not in favor of it. It's directly across the street from the city hall front door. But I will go ahead and support it because the businesses all support it. They think that's the right place for it. It works for everybody, so I'm okay with it going there. If everybody in the business community can come together with their design and how they're gonna pay for it, that part of it. And I was looking before we came in tonight, it looks like there's already a curb cut in just about the right location. So we might have to tear that out. That'd be nice.
I will tell you that we'll probably ultimately be replacing them. But the sidewalk that's there is probably many, many years old. We're gonna have to put in a structural section. Those trash trucks are heavier than they look.
Yeah, wait till the concrete breaks up. Then.
Yeah. All right, any more comments from the council? Yeah.
I was at the meeting on the 29th, and I was really glad on such short notice, like I said in my comments earlier, to see as many of the businesses represented as there was. I mean, we had just about everybody that's gonna be contributing to this trash enclosure was there, and had a lot of good comments, a lot of good discussion. And they went through a pretty good process of narrowing it down. And I know it wasn't John's first choice, just like it wasn't Bill's, but as I pointed out, standing in your office window, you could have seen any of the 6 locations, so I don't think it matters. But I'm glad they all came to an agreement, and as far as I could tell, it was a unanimous vote for where they ended up deciding to put it. So I'm really glad to see this thing moving forward.
I just have a brief comment. I'm not thrilled about the location, but I'm thrilled about people coming to consensus. I would just hope that when the design is considered, that some type of surfactant can be applied so that if it's tagged or defeated in any way, it can be cleaned off immediately, since it is right across from City Hall and it is a valuable area in our community. Thank you.
More discussion?
Yes. That was my whistle.
So dirty. So, John Pickrell, 488 Main Street. So before one more person says they don't like the location, I'm going to speak on behalf of the location. But I like talking about the alley activation, and I again want to reinforce how much foresight the city had with Paseo or whatever it is you call it, opening between those buildings and purchasing that. I'd like to make a prediction that the alley activation is going to magnify the walkability and the charm of downtown beyond what anybody can imagine. It's going to be one of the last things that caused me to relax about the difference between downtown and the freeway retail that's being built. Nothing wrong with freeway retail, especially after I saw how much tax it. But when we talk about investment in some of the things like WeWork or, the people that are paying a lot of money to be in houses that are close to downtown, the magnet is the charm of downtown. And this is our chance to spend very little money to make a very big difference. I know you've heard this from me a million times. This is a big deal because you got a hotel there that this is all gonna play off of. And then when Joseph and Mika, I own the building that Joseph and Mika have now. It was always my dream to see people discover that alley. And the gateway that we're talking about is really important. So thanks for supporting that. I think you'll be rewarded, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll put it up for a motion. Have a motion?
No, I move that city council approves the location of the shared trash enclosure for downtown businesses as shown in Exhibit A.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Passes unanimously. So yeah, thank you all businesses for all the time and work you put into this. It will make a very nice alley activation. Bring Councilmember Anderson.
He's coming back.
Yep. Okay. Okay, the last discussion item we have is the adoption of resolution 2019-19, establishing the Winters Senior Citizens Commission on Aging.
Mayor and Council, just really quickly, at the March 19th council meeting, council received a really nice presentation on the concept of adopting and bringing forward some type of a Winters Senior Commission. at that meeting, it was actually exciting to see members of various organizations that we have representing seniors all coming together to support that, have a submitted petition with people in favor of it. The council directed staff to put together a resolution forming the commission, and that's what's before you tonight. Tonight, staff's recommending that you adopt the resolution, authorize the advertisement of for people who would like to apply to the commission, and if amongst you could select a couple of you to serve as the interview committee. We'll put it out for advertisement, and eventually it'll come back. That probably, conceivably, probably the first meeting of the commission will be sometime, probably either late July or in August.
Okay, question from council? No question for the city attorney. So the members on this committee will be required to do training and go through the Brown Act.
Yeah, they will. And I know we had discussion at the last meeting, and I guess this is something we may want to have further discussion about, but we had discussed trying to kind of limit the requirements that would be put on them. But the only way to really do that is to also limit their ability to kind of act on these issues. And I think that based on what I heard at the last meeting, I didn't think that was the proponents of this, that's not their inclination. If they're advisory to the council, they're advising you on things and making recommendations, then they have to comply with, they have to file Form 700s, they have to comply with the Brown Act, they have to do all that stuff. If they were just going to talk about issues more generally and be kind of a clearinghouse for discussion, but not make recommendations to the council, then they wouldn't have to go through all those hoops. But based on what I heard, they want to have that ability. And so with that ability comes all the requirements of, complying with conflicts of interest codes, complying with the Brown Act and everything else. So I kind of made the decision with the resolution that was the direction which we would go as far as a recommendation. And if you feel differently, we can soften it, but that's what is before you.
Okay. Other questions? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this item?
Good evening, members of the council. I'm Marlene Bell, and I'm on Road 92F in rural Winters. And this is Irene Goya-Tweed at 464 Main Street. So thank you so much for getting us to this point. This is tremendous progress in a short period of time. I'd also like to recognize members of the committee who put together the proposal to create the commission as well as the resolution. And that is Bob Johnson and his wife Ray, who are here. Tina and Jerry Loden were part of that committee. Mary Ann Boyer, part of that committee as well. And Karen May, part of that committee. And Irene Goy-Tweed. We are all, and myself, all part of the committee to draft the proposal and the resolution. With the support of Sheila Allen, of course, which is the originator of the concept of the commission, and the support of our assembly member, Cecilia Aguiar-Curry. So I'm here to answer any questions, although I do not have a copy of what you are proposing as the resolution, if it's different from what we submitted. I did send a correction to Mr. Don Levy about we had a correction because we had that the commission would be made up of an inclusive body by race, gender, and age. Gender was left off, and we want to make sure that that's back on. So if it's not on there, I hope it gets on there before we approve it, because it's incredibly important that we have the diversity of our community included in this commission. If you have questions, we're here to answer them, but I wondered if what I submitted is the same as what you're approving tonight, because I haven't seen what's on deck for approval.
City manager or city attorney rather?
It's not what they submitted. So what we prepared, and I'm not sure that I saw exactly what they submitted, but I prepared a resolution that would kind of meet the requirements that you would need for your typical commissions. So it would need the number of people, the process that you would go through to select the folks who would serve on the commission, what their roles would be. And so kind of, I do know that the criteria that we used was based on their proposal and what the, kind of what the scope of their responsibilities would be. So I don't know if you want to give them a chance to look at it. It was in the agenda, but if they haven't looked at it yet, they probably should.
So on the resolution, number 2 is on the membership, and it reads, the commission shall consist of 7 members and 2 alternates, each of whom must reside within the city. All voting members of the commission, regular and alternate, shall be appointed by the city council. The alternate members shall not vote except upon the absence of one or more of the regular members of the commission. The membership requirements.
Well, my only question is that amenable to the committee who has worked so hard to put all this together? And I would have to assume that if it follows the guidelines that you normally establish for commissions, then it is what we should adhere to.
I'd like to ask, and this is probably again for Ethan, about the part that the mayor was just reading about the, within the city, for this particular commission, do they have to be within the city limits, or can it just be a Winters address?
It could be just a Winters address.
Oh,
Because I think that would be helpful for some of those involved that don't live within the city limits. For what,
Right.
just like several of them that were involved with this aren't actually within city limits, but have Winters addresses.
Exactly. Some of us are farmers.
Okay.
Major
I'd like to
industry
make
in
that
this town.
acceptable.
And that is completely fine. And so the only comment that I would make in terms of the language, it does not have the language that you just mentioned regarding a diversity of that is representative of community. And I guess the only thing I would say to that is that with some of these commissions, you're kind of bound by the people who are willing to serve. And if it doesn't, if the volunteers, and that's a challenge sometimes when you narrow your criteria, is you can't always fill your commission necessarily. And so sometimes, while that is a good goal, it may not always be possible to have it completely representative of the full community in terms of age, ethnicity and everything else, because it just depends on gender. It all depends on who applies.
May I recommend that we have language that says that we shall endeavor to have an inclusive.
And that would be fine, and you could move to pass it with language that says you would like the council, in appointing the commission, the council shall endeavor to, and then use exactly what your language was.
If we're going to have an age-friendly community, we must consider all components of our age group, gender, race, and age.
Absolutely, and I agree with that completely, but I would note that oftentimes when it's a volunteer role, you know, you're kind of bound by the people who are willing to volunteer.
Exactly. So it's our job to recruit, you're saying.
Yeah, the more
There you
people
go.
you get who are
I
willing to
thought
do
we
it,
should
better.
get there. I thought we should get there. Yeah, and we have a responsibility to encourage members of the community to participate in the community infrastructure, which is what this commission is. It's part of the governance of this community. If we are taking the passive route and picking from the low-hanging fruit, we may not have an inclusive body, and that would be tragic. So it's our job to encourage our community to apply.
Yes, in fact, it says it may limit the number of people we have to choose from. If we don't have any young people apply that want to serve
We
this
don't have
commission,
Right.
we have to go with what we have.
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe enough.
Thank you.
You want to make a comment?
Irene Boyatui, 464 Main Street. I'm also the Community Outreach and Engagement Manager for Winters Healthcare. I just wanted to say it's been really exciting to work with these sassy group. I'm really fortunate that with my job, I've been able to be on various committees in this community. And I joke, I'm not from here yet because I've only been here 21 years. And since I've been here, I've had the opportunity to be part of the Elder Day Committee. Really kind of where I got into the issues that are out there is I got asked to be on Sheila's group with Dan and a lot of people in this community. So it really made me aware of so many of the issues, and it's very exciting to see that that all of this work that was done is really coming to fruition, and we are actually completing a goal. I know that Sheila did recommend this, and it's really exciting to finally kind of seal the deal and see that this is going to happen. And I think that there are a lot of voices in town. I really don't think we're going to have the problems getting a committee going. I think there are a lot of people that are invested and engaged in their community, and they are really looking forward to having this opportunity. So I look forward to this being a hand-in-hand group working with the city to ensure that, you know, that everyone's needs are met. And so it's very exciting. It's been an honor to work with this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak?
I can't sit still.
I'm here, Cecilia Aguilar Curry, California. I'm honored to be here this evening to hear how this group has come together, but most of the support from you all. Because I knew years ago when I sat on the other side of that dais, you know, we tried to figure out how we can make this work. And to see these people all come together to try to address our seniors' needs, it's so important. It's so important that even at the assembly now, we have a whole aging plan we're going to try to get through this year. From workforce for our elderly, from transportation to housing, and for you to have a commission will give you an opportunity to go after additional money. You know, if you're showing that you have a formation and you're committed as a community, you'll be able to go after some of that. So I'm honored that you guys have given them permission, or you're going to, hopefully. But I do want to say is that all of these people here have worked really hard on this, and we have to commend them. Let's face it, we have the silver-haired tsunami, as Mariko Yamada used to tell us all the time. Many of all of us in this room are in that room. But it'd be really nice is that I appreciate you consider this resolution tonight, and I think it'll give you one more step forward to making, addressing and honoring our seniors in Winters, California. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak? Okay.
I just want to give a shout out to Cecilia, of course, but also it was Wally Pierce was also on that commission with Irene and I and Bob back there that served with Sheila for I think 2 years. So we, you know, we pushed and met and went to locations and put our time and our sweat in to make sure that that the document that was turned in by Sheila was representative of this community. So I wanted to thank you.
Any other discussion from the council? Questions? Okay, not, I will open it for a motion. Got a couple,
Don't we have to pick who's gonna be on it?
well, we have to have the commission
Oh.
first.
I will move to approve the staff recommendation for the senior commission.
Senior moment.
And so, and so the two, changes, I believe are, that in section 2 membership, instead of saying must reside within the city, it would say each of whom has a Winters address. And then adding a sentence to the end of the membership that says, in appointing members to the commission, the city council shall endeavor to appoint a membership that, and then we'll add the language that was referenced from their recommended resolution.
Okay, Jesse.
Yes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. More discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passes unanimously. And now that we have that passed, now we can decide who on the city council would like to be on the interview panel. Anybody interested in
All
doing
got
that?
at once.
Need 2 people.
Those that had gray hair.
I'll do it if you're gonna do it, Wade. Is that two people, right?
We have 2 here.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Okay. We have 2 council members who stepped up, and they'll be on the interview panel.
Who are
So
Oh, boy.
we'll need to pick a liaison from the council to the committee. We can do that at a future meeting, John, or should we do that tonight?
Either or. You might want to wait to see who's on the commission to find out who's brave enough to step up. Just saying.
Okay, so we have a commission. We'll hold off on appointing the liaison for tonight. And we will, say, we really look forward to all the applications pouring in. Hopefully we'll get enough to fill it. I really think this will be a great addition to our community. Give us some advice on some of the planning that we'll be doing for the senior center and that type of thing. Give you some good input on that, so.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask a quick question? I can come up for.
Come up, please, yes.
Yes, okay. I'm sorry, I just crossed my mind as we got closer down to the road here to this whole thing. Bob Johnson, 950 Water Street. One of the things that I have found is in my 3 years of being here in town, that communication is vital. And now we have to decide, maybe even tonight, as to how this announcement is going to come forward. If you don't take the express, there is an issue. And I'm just curious as to how the city council is going to approach the announcement of this, because there are going to be people, as Marlene or someone mentioned, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, I don't know. But, if there is a tool that we can use, and I'm just, again, in my limited time here, I'm trying to think what those tools might be, given the fact that the newspaper is our one big tool that we all look for. If you don't subscribe to the paper, or you happen to be out of town on Wednesday it comes out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There has to be a way to get this word out. If we're talking about formation by the end of July, I thought I heard you say, so we have a month and a half roughly to get this going. And people are out of town and that kind of thing. I don't want to paint too dark a picture here, obviously. I'm just trying to think of how it is that we are going to get the information out, so that we do have a good representation of applicants, rather than just having the first 5 people who walk in the door one night and say, we're ready to go. So just a thought.
I think we have several avenues to go. We can, the city manager can put it in his Friday update. We can do the ad in the Winters Express, maybe post something on Facebook as well. Any other suggestions?
Water bill.
On the water bill, if we can get that out in time.
In
We
Spanish.
can do that. Spanish and English both, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
The water bills were stuff today, so we'll miss that, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Also put it on the city's website, put it on there.
I think the foundation has another meeting before you guys conclude for June, is that correct?
We have one more meeting.
Okay, so maybe,
Yes,
I mean,
we'll
speaking
get
of
it
other ways, the foundation, we're done, I'm the president of the senior club. The foundation, I think, has one more meeting, before they conclude for the summer. So just some thinking about how we want to get this work.
Yeah, we'll look forward to everybody in the various senior committees that we have now, spreading the word to
Yes,
other
right.
people as well.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Tina, did you have your hand up earlier?
So I'm just going to, I don't have it up there.
You
Come on,
may
get
go.
going. Sorry. You call the official.
You may get going. This is a meeting.
Tina Sacramento Loud, 320 Neiman Street. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say that we need to have it in the Hispanic community, and not only for the advisory committee, but also for the different churches. They need to know about this, and I think it's very, very important. They are, what, 51% or higher of our community, and I think it's very important for that. Thank you. One more question. How much would it cost to send an individual mailer out to in the water bill? How much does that cost?
I'm pretty close, but it's about $1,200.
$500. Oh, that's the stamps?
Postage on that.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Just a thought. Yeah. Thank you.
Our customer base is about 2,200.
Okay. Thank you.
2,300, so.
And then we need to put flyers around too, and I'll be glad to get in my bike. And if you haven't printed at the city hall, and I'll take it to Lorenzo's or wherever, and just, what was that guy's name, Jerry, I'll be glad to do that. Because I think this is very, very, very important. And one more thing. I have the mic, Bill. I want to thank the elder committee. Jerry and I went on Saturday, and we were very impressed of the three candidates. The fourth one unfortunately died. But the three candidates, and it was a very, very, very good event. And I want to thank the committee for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak? Okay, seeing none. That's our last discussion item. We'll move on to the city manager's report.
Mayor and Council, just two things. Yesterday, I, along with our county emergency manager, Danny Carey, county CAO, a couple of board supervisors, went and the governor hosted a summit on emergency management preparedness. Exceptionally well done. It was absolutely first class, panel discussions on some things. The governor and the State Office of Emergency Services absolutely taking emergency management very seriously, obviously with catastrophic fires and things that we're dealing with. And I'll be honest with you, it was the first time that I've seen the governor actually get up and speak. And he was really good. Very sincere, very magnanimous. And it was kind of interesting to see the governor articulating some things that were outside of sound bites. So, good meeting. Second thing, I've been doing the Ask the City Manager thing, and one of the things that each one, the council gets up and will talk about, each one of you needs to for a briefing. And what I thought I would do, and I'm going to figure out how to do it, is I'm going to just publish a video segment before each council meeting, basically giving the same briefing. People have often asked me, so what do you tell the council, or what are these briefings about? I'm going to give the same briefing, and it's really easy that I can just put up the video so that people can actually see the approach the information and how the information is presented to the council on various things. Because I think as people are curious about, how we prepare for a council meeting, I think it's important. And so I'm going to come up with my own little briefing thing, and we can push it out on our YouTube channel as well as through our social media. So we'll see that. Yeah. So trying to find the art of it. The one thing about the social media that's so difficult is that we live in an information age, but some of the folks on social media might not be as positive on various things. And I guess the balance is trying to figure out how we don't turn something into a negative. Because the culture of our council meetings have always been to have the idea that people feel comfortable to get up and talk about something. And unfortunately, maybe sometimes when people are negative, it can suppress that. So trying to figure out the balance of how we do things. So and that's my report.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of Don Rominger and his long service to the Lawrence Fire District and to our city, as well as Jesse Gill, who recently passed away, and she had a lot of contributions to our city as well. We'll adjourn the meeting in their honor.
You get the fire report when everybody was here.
Yeah, hi. Good.
No, we're saying we're
Peter,
trying to-
Peter, nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. You've been coming to meetings and things.
Thank you, sir.
So it's always nice to see the old gang.
I totally get that.
Well, no, actually, I'm trying to figure out that. I'm a little baby. Oh, yes.
Fourth Thursday of the month.
Can be improved. For your office, Tracy.
Better day, and we moved into
Can I just make the revision and then re-email it to you?
Your questions at my house are not me to use that.
I need to know.
I get more from people, not from sitting upstairs, but in the ability to interact with them. So, let's figure it out.
All right, you guys have a good,
Let me look into that, because I've been starting to, or not necessarily just for my own.
Jesse?
Yeah.
I have someone you need to speak to for a second.
I'm coming. Hey,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
Like a barn?
Seriously, I've
The
got.
what?
A barn adventure?